Okay, you wanted to watch this. What do we got here?
Yeah, this is a great video. Shout out to Krista Caceres, president of the Monroe
Monroe.
County chapter of the NAACP, because she does a phenomenal job here. Really just kind of, I don't know.
So this is like some type of debate thing
Yeah,
at a school board
with
meeting?
school board candidates.
And they said, "Do you have an understanding of what diversity and inclusion platform is?"
Yeah,
And she's going against a Moms for Liberty
I don't know if this woman
candidate.
is confirmed in Moms for
She
Liberty,
looks
but
like
she
it. If
looks,
that's
yeah,
her,
I
she
mean,
sure looks like it. And Moms for Liberty is like it's like conservative fascist moms demand.
yeah,
Like a
it's
bunch
like
of like
not
suburban moms who like want to kill trans kids or something.
yeah, it's people who are against diversity, equity, and inclusion of any kind.
Nice. That's really good. I
Yeah.
love that.
So
Moms for liberty, but not freedom.
no. See, I want liberty for my kid because he's white, and I don't want him to think that he, should be anything other than that because he might if he
Moms
knows
for
that
the
black people
freedom.
have done cool things.
Right. Moms
Like
for
that's
the
the whole.
freedom of bigotry. That's what we're
Yeah,
talking here.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. My kid
Okay.
shouldn't have to be nice to your black kid.
Let's check this.
That's like what-
Right. Literally. My kid shouldn't have to not like call your kid a
Look,
tranny or something.
racism is the right, and my kid deserves to be racist the same way that I was in high school.
If my kid can't rely on the same tropes that I used in the late 70s, then this country has gone so far downhill.
Yeah, in the 90s, I didn't have to sit with anybody who didn't look like me at lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Now I do. And that worries me. Like that's like the
I
whole,
hate it.
Yeah.
My kid, he says that he's not even allowed to harass the homosexuals. And
Yeah.
I find that to be bad.
Yeah, my kid says everybody's like not straight and some people are open about it. Like that terrifies me.
And we should be able to shame
Look
them.
what's happening to our country.
Okay, but let's watch this.
Yeah.
So the question is, do you have an understanding of what the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion platform is?
Do you have an understanding of what the DEI platform is or program is in this school district?
Well, in general, yes, I do.
And so what is it in your mind?
So let me just say that I do, yes, I understand where you are coming from, that you want to see all children, treated equally. I do too. I don't care who comes into my classroom. I don't care what color they are. I don't care what their sexual orientation is.
The number one dead giveaway that someone cares about sexual orientation or color is when they say, I don't care what color they are. I don't care what sexual orientation they are.
Believe it
That's
or not,
a great way to know that this person really cares about.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, aren't you surprised that I don't care?
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you right now, I don't care.
I want everyone to be treated equally. I don't care if they're white, black, purple, straight, gay, trans.
Isn't that woke of me? Like, I actually like fully believe that like you should be allowed to be black. Like,
yeah. I actually love having purple students. I love my purples.
What their sexual orientation is.
But I just want to know, tell me what the DEI platform, tell me what the DEI program is that you have a problem with. I want you to describe what's happening now that you have an issue with. And then be quick because we have to move on to Ms. Van Wy and then we need to carry on with the questions. I don't want to make it a long thing, but I just think it's important. And this is not a gotcha. And I know we're tempted to clap and laugh. It's really not about that. This really is about being transparent, and it really is about the kids. So would you please just explain, as far as you understand it, what is the DE&I platform and program here at East Stroudsburg Area School District?
And this is such a sick it's funny that whoever is like the questioner, whoever's like hosting this debate or whatever the fuck, moderating it, it's awesome that they say like, this is not a gotcha. No, it absolutely is a gotcha. That's the best part about this.
Yeah.
Is that it's 100% a gotcha, because like this type of shit, like conservatives encouraging these insane people to go to school boards and argue against shit as simple and vague as like diversity, equity, and inclusion. They don't know what it is, and that is very intentional. Like, this is just this woman showing up at this board meeting to basically be like anti-woke.
Yeah.
And she can't define wokeness because wokeness in today's world is undefinable.
Yeah.
It's woke is just shit that conservatives don't like. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what diversity, equity, and inclusion has become, because they're not going to actually read what like the DEI mission is, as much as DEI is like a load of shit at most places, right? Like they're not actually. I doubt that this school is actually East Stroudsburg. They're probably not
at one
doing
company
much.
I worked at, there wasn't a black person like on the DE&I initiative team, and there were more than many black people who were in the company.
Right, but either they didn't want to be on the DEI board
didn't,
because they knew it
no.
was bullshit,
Yeah.
or they didn't fucking give any people of color a chance to be on the fucking diversity, equity, and inclusion
Well, they
board.
don't tell you about it. Like
Right.
I knew it existed like from an
No.
email after I'd been there for a long time.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I don't care about that. Like,
And did anything ever come of the diversity, equity, and inclusion board that they
if
had?
it did, nobody told me.
So not anything meaningful.
No.
Right.
Well, I think they just like read books.
Right.
And
that's
like
the like
did like Zoom calls about the books. It was more of like a book club.
Yeah.
Like a
mm-hmm.
business woke book club where they would read like Oprah or something.
Yeah, 100%.
And then be like, she's an example of a black woman who made waves in business.
Yeah, and that's the
like, that's the
diversity.
hilarious
like second caveat of this is that like one, this is literally just anti-wokeness. There's no substance. The things that this woman has a problem with that she is like parading against are all entirely fucking hypothetical, right? Like she's not even actually complaining about the real DEI program.
No.
But also, if she were to complain, the reason she can't do that, one, she definitely has not read the source material.
Nope.
But two, DEI is like neoliberal PR bullshit for 99% of cases. There wouldn't actually be anything to be pissed off about because the whole thing is a fucking affront. Like again, it's literally just like this is fucking corporate PR basically at a fucking school district.
Yeah, it's roll the tape. Her answer here is
I'm sure it just gets worse. And
it does go downhill from here.
Jesus
it
Christ!
Goes,
if you just
downhill.
jumped in, we're watching this clip from the East Stroudsburg Area School District school board. This woman is a Moms for Liberty something or other. She's on this panel. They asked her.
I believe she's a teacher.
Yeah, she is definitely a teacher, but she is parading against the diversity, equity, and inclusion platform. And the moderator just asked, what about it do you not like? And she completely fails to answer the question thus far.
And if you're not sure, it's okay to say you're not sure.
I'm not 100% sure what it is here at East Stroudsburg.
What is your idea in general then? If you don't have specific knowledge of this particular school district, what is it in your mind that the DEI platform does? And if you're not sure, that's okay too.
Like if I was a candidate for anything, my answer would be so ready. Like if I came in against something, like my answer would I would know what I was talking. She's.
It's also like what's so fucking annoying to me about this
I hate
is
diversity.
that I wish people like this would just say it with their fucking chest. Just say, I don't want black students to feel comfortable in my classroom.
Yeah,
say that shit. Say, I don't like that I have to teach gay kids and treat them as equals to my straight students. Just say that shit.
I would rather not talk about slavery.
Right.
Like that's
you're literally saying the quiet parts quietly. Say them loudly. Fucking own that shit. Like this shit is so annoying of just being like, ooh, I just don't like the wokeness. It's about like, fucking, 1776 project or whatever the fuck. What's the not that one. That's the conservative response to it, but what's the actual one?
1619.
Yeah, something like that.
Project,
but like, just say it with your fucking chest. Just say, I'm a bigot.
Remember.
Dude next to her looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah, the guy on the left is just like.
I'm just very fearful that there are going to be children that are made to feel bad of who they are. Because
bad of who they are.
They're not part
this is a
of
teacher. Bad of who they are. They're going to feel bad of who they are.
I'm fearful for children that they'll be made to feel bad for who they are because they're not what other students are a part of. Like just say my white students are culturally under attack. You know what I mean? Just say the Tucker line.
Yeah,
just say it.
Yeah, say the
like
TV
why
line.
Why be so fucking bullish and shy about it? Like, just fucking do it. Just say that shit. You're here. You're already here, rampaging against the very vague concept of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
You saw that, you saw those terms, you said I don't like them,
Yeah,
and then you came out and said I can't say why.
right. And it's like, interesting. Why don't you like diversity? And she's like, ah. Why don't you
I would
like
hate for students to feel things,
right? Why don't you like inclusivity? Why don't you like, you know?
because it would mean that students wouldn't think that we were all one and the same.
Yeah.
Like, that's the nicest possible way of saying that you don't want anybody to feel like they're, like, you know, a part of a culture that isn't your own.
Yeah.
It's just
It's also funny because, like, a little bit of reading and you would at least be able to bullshit around this, right? Like, probably the best way you could go about this if you're this dickhead woman is to just, like, weaponize some, like, leftist terms against this school board moderator,
yeah.
you know, and just be like, well, I don't want to harbor white guilt in my classroom, you know? That would be a fantastic answer. At least then you've given something
Yeah.
that's not directly bigoted and
Yeah.
leads to, like, an actual conversation, while even though it's incredibly bad faith, at least there's something there. Don't just say, like, "Ooh, I don't want my kids to feel bad about who they are."
Like, with these people, like, this person is not smart. Like, this is not
No,
an
this
intelligent woman.
this is an idiot.
at all. And the reason that she, you know, was given the confidence to come up here is because she's not an intelligent person.
Right.
Like,
No smart person is doing this.
no smart person is even touching, like, any part of that.
Mm-mm.
And she's like, what am I against? What
Yeah.
am I against?
Ooh.
Well, how can I say this nicely? I don't want like this.
I'd also love to know, like, what her role with Mom's Demand is, what her goal of, like, being here is, like,
She
'cause
probably
she's
like
a
brings like
teacher,
she probably
like-
like brings like the snacks or something. Like Sherry's
So
like
dog shit, dude.
Starbucks like gift cards.
What is that? I mean, I got the feel for part, and I understand as a parent you have concerns and worries. But speak. I just want, like, what are you fearful of when you say that kids are going to feel bad? Feel bad about what?
Their whiteness.
So
Just
I
say
think
it.
they're going to be made to feel bad if they are not a person of color.
What would no, guys? No, please,
crowd in the
please. This is uncomfortable, but it's necessary, and I appreciate the fact that you're even courageous enough to be honest.
Again, I do as well. I appreciate that you minced your words a little bit, but you have at least directly identified that you are afraid of your kids feeling demonized for their whiteness.
Yeah, this lady's running it.
Because many people
Krista,
are.
I will tell you this. It was strongly recommended to me that I do not attend tonight.
You should have listened.
And
Yeah, they were right.
I did not agree with that. I wanted to be here.
And I
wanna
appreciate
have-
that.
I want to have an open dialogue.
And that's exactly what we're
I
doing.
want to learn.
Yes, and I appreciate it.
I
And
can't-
there would be no reason for you to. I mean, I understand why people say don't come. Yeah, because we're gonna hold folks accountable. We are gonna ask questions that deserve answers,
Right.
and we're trying our best in this community to stop the days where people could just put their name on a ballot and not have to answer any questions, and they get elected and they don't have to hold themselves accountable. They don't have to demonstrate what they've done for the community.
So this is clearly some type of prerequisite for an election. So she's trying to get on the school board or some shit.
Yeah,
And her one platform point is, I do not fuck with diversity, equity, and
yeah,
inclusion.
we need less diversity.
They just ride by on
Yeah, the rest of it
personality.
just
We have to
basically
stop
nothing,
that
but
because our community is
that's,
suffering. Certain things in this community I appreciate. No, I very much is. If we're not talking to you is, in my mind as a parent of a person of color, my son is in the school district, for the eternity. Since this country was founded, he has been taught, my ancestors have been taught, nothing that they can identify with. No contributions that they've made to this nation that they clearly have made, right? And there are a rarity of teachers and instructors and counselors that look like them. To let them know, that's possible, you can do that. You can reach those heights. You're not limited to just doing,
ever. Like, I didn't have any until college, and it was one.
Yeah.
Or no, two. But I had the only black teachers I had in high school, elementary school, all the way down to preschool were substitutes.
Yeah, same. I think
So
prior to college, I only ever had one black teacher, and it was this dude that subbed.
yeah,
That was it. Most of my teachers looked considerably more like this woman than
yep,
anything else. Yeah,
100%. Yeah,
and I also think that's a really good point. What she said about, like, I mean, for black students, huge, obviously, to like literally have a fucking an authority figure in the school that looks like you, that you relate to. That's fucking huge. The other side of it is the actual impact that it has on white students. Like, I grew up in a fucking 95% white community, very few black people, maybe like 3 black families in our entire community of, like, 7,000 people, some shit like that. A lot of Latino people. It's a farming area. A lot of like immigrants come in working in ag and shit. Uh, People like it would have benefited a lot of my peers. I genuinely believe, in terms of like outlook on the world and understanding and like confronting realities of the world, if there would have been a figure of any type at the school willing to just have conversations about blackness. And I'm not saying that, given the demographics of my town, that those would have gone well, but
no,
like
they would not have. It's probably best they didn't happen
but
in the
like
first place.
but if it was in good faith, it was well informed,
Yeah,
and it was done in a good manner, like,
yeah, it's
that could
asking a
be
lot.
beneficial. Like, even just as simple as like, I mean, discussing like true history of slavery, true history of like suppressing black people, oppressing them throughout the country's history, talking about fucking incarceration and shit like that, like, those would be huge. But even things as like vague as like the concept of blackness and why black people in America identify as like black versus any of like so many white people are like, I'm Dutch, I'm German, I'm Swedish. Well, why the
Yeah,
fuck are are black people in America limited to blackness? It's because
yeah,
fucking white people stripped them of everything they had prior.
yeah,
That would be a fantastic conversation to start with. I
yeah,
think you could also have a really important conversation about the N-word, why it's not cool for white people to say it, but why it's fine that black people say it, because I think that's also an undercurrent that lives within rural white America that is really fucking damaging to conversations about race. Is one of the biggest conversation stoppers is, well, if I can't say the N-word, why do black people get to say it? And it's like
yeah,
it goes hand in hand with conversations about blackness, but like
yeah,
it's a relationality thing. Like,
yeah. That's like a low intelligence thing for me. Not to say that all people who think that way are of low intelligence, but
I mean, Americans are of low intelligence. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
like
Like,
you are
we've
though.
had
Like
so much
like
time to start these conversations in public schools, and instead of even starting there at something that really should be common fucking sense, you
yeah,
have people, insane psychos like this, doing this shit. And this goes back so fucking far in the nation's history. Like, these people could be just doing so much more justice, and instead this woman is fucking ranting against like diversity, equity, and inclusion, when I guarantee that this woman, 100% full stop, is not equipped to have a conversation in her classroom about race in any productive manner
no, no. That's
that
what I'm.
that either
They
feels
like
good for any people of color or actually informs her white students. There's
no.
no
I mean
fucking way.
there's no knowledge base and there's never going to be an attempt at one.
Yeah,
I'd like I don't know. Again, I've had two black teachers ever, and they weren't until I was like 19.
right.
So like I know pretty well like the limited amount of conversations that you have about race at the primary school, you know, through the that level. Like I remember we read Tom Sawyer aloud
Yeah, there's some n bombs in there, isn't
when I
there?
was in middle school. Oh
Yeah.
yes,
Yep.
we read Tom Sawyer aloud. They we did not say the N word, but and this happened to me throughout school, man. Like from elementary school on, anytime there was a black thing,
Hmm.
because of where I lived in a I don't know, I would say a small city in Colorado.
Hmm.
When we lived there, there were 50,000 people,
That's a yeah. That is a
and
small city. Yeah.
there in my school we had 800 kids in an elementary school, so it's a big school,
Hmm.
and including I think there were eight black kids. So that
Jesus.
comes down to exactly 1%. So anytime there was a discussion
So you
about
were most of the time probably the only black person in the classroom.
every time, yeah. But there would be a discussion about like this happened every Martin Luther King Day. We watched like the whatever little Martin and the cartoon thing that they had, or like just a random Martin documentary about like the March on Selma or something like that. The bus boycotts, the bombing, etc. But they at the end or at the beginning, they would all the kids in class would like turn around because the teacher would ask you like just like up front, so like how did that make you feel?
They would like single you out?
Yes.
Jesus fuck.
Yes, this happened all the time. And so I
And
would
I bet
just
it was someone who looked like one of these three people.
yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, this happened all the time, and I was super used to it by the time I was 9, probably. So I was much better equipped to have that conversation in a genuine way than I really should have been at age 9. Like
Mhm.
that's not like a conversation that a 9-year-old really needs to have or should have. And that shit like ages you like pretty drastically
Yeah.
when you're in elementary school. Like I didn't have any like real frame of reference for like real childhood for like most of the time just
Mhm.
because you're not on the same footing as everybody else, so you have to um completely adjust like who you are on a day-to-day basis. It's not like a it's not a normal thing. It doesn't, you can't grow up that way and then just like go through life well adjusted without any like help. It's just like not possible.
Right.
And I didn't have any real help until with anything like that because nobody knows, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
you're nobody in my immediate family because I mean I didn't even live around it. Like nobody could like really identify with that in any sense. So yeah, and then I got to high school and there were like more black kids, which was awesome because we like were not in a. I mean, growing up, I had like there were like black kids on my street, so it was like sick. Like, and then
Mhm.
we moved to a small city where there were not like the only black people there were kids I played basketball with. I mean, I had to go to Denver for that, so that like wasn't even in my town.
Right.
But I don't know, man. Like the and you're right. I mean, they're all this lady,
Yeah.
right? Like these women are the people who taught me how to be a an American citizen, which is really all that they teach you at that level.
Yeah.
It's insane that me like that I am who I am having that been the reality.
Yeah.
That's not statistically like that's why a lot of kids, in my situation or in a similar situation, like if you look at the numbers, suicide rates for kids in that situation 5 times higher
Yeah.
than the average person. 5 times.
Well,
It's
and
a
that's
statistic.
also what's so fucked like that. I mean, obviously, that experience is incredibly fucking isolating for anyone in any type of situation. And you were in a bigger community. Like,
Yeah.
it's just fucking unbelievable. And for this fucking woman to sit here and not only like advocate for upholding that type of experience for any fucking marginalized student that's in her classroom, but to specifically do so with the intention of not interrupting the way that her white students go about their day is like fucking crazy to me. And that's like when I watch clips like this, I think about like where I fucking grew up. And like, I don't know, my parents are definitely not like libs or anything like that, but like I didn't grow up in an overtly racist household. I know that people in my community did. Um I did not, and so like I certainly wasn't fucking thinking about race as a child. I had, black and Mexican kids on my teams and shit, but like and in my classrooms, I wasn't fucking thinking about race or like didn't have any frame of reference for the experience that they were going through, and I know that it was fucking so different than mine. And that's what I'm saying is like this could be this woman has the opportunity to at least provide a fucking jumping off point for people to think about this shit, and she would rather protect the 28 white kids in her class and like their fragile fucking whiteness and their delicate sensibilities rather than like actually creating an environment where all of her students could at least be treated the same like institutionally. And it's just so funny that that coincides with her complete inability to even like more than vaguely discuss diversity, equity, and inclusion. Like it's
Yeah,
just not a fucking coincidence.
when I would, you know, when I would be asked before the Martin Luther King documentary or after, how does this make you feel? And then I would have to give that speech. Like, I, I wasn't like tiptoeing around shit. Like, I would just say, like, yeah, like, you know, this is reality, and it doesn't make me feel good.
Right.
Like,
Also, like this experience right now is making me feel incredibly othered.
yeah,
Like
like
nothing has made me feel more different.
they had no frame of that thought never occurred to any of them because it was more about like, and to be fair, like I was like one of the smarter kids in the class like pretty much all the time, so it was that's why they felt more empowered to like ask me that question directly
Right.
because
Oh, you might have something profound to say.
yeah, and the problem is I did like
Right.
I just you shouldn't have to is the thing, and also
Right.
like you know, I thought about race every single day, all of the time. You know what I mean? Like it's
Right.
like a it's it's such a wide gap for people to understand like every single day. And it's very very different from like not thinking about it. Like now, right? Like I am so conditioned to thinking about life the way that I do that I still probably think about race in some way every day, and it's more in I mean now it's more because I like see some racist shit, you know. That's really it, but it like when I was a kid it was more about like survival, like genuinely.
Yeah.
And that's
Which is
yeah.
in like that's ultimately what is so fucked up about people holding public performances like this is that like one they clearly have absolutely zero obviously understanding of but even like sympathy for an experience like that, but like on again like on top of that to defend some shit that you care deeply about but know nothing about is actually just it's insane. And it like using your breath to fucking parade against this shit when you just literally have no fucking idea not only what you're talking about but also like the absolute undeniable harm that this woman is for sure contributing to in her classroom
Yeah.
is just deeply fucking upsetting
Yeah.
because she's just recreating that experience. That's all she's doing. If there is a black, Mexican, any fucking non-white even if there's a fucking Italian in the classroom, you know what I mean? She's
Well,
probably
yeah.
recreating that fucking experience. That's fucked up.
Yeah. I mean it's like I went to middle school with like some more like I don't know, some more culture and shit. Like I had like Muslim friends, like
Mhm.
it was that was good, but like I don't know, man. Not until I got to high school did like anything start to, you know, really like make sense from a life perspective, which is like a terrible time
Yeah.
for like that to start happening
You're
because
saying like in like what regard? Like
um
identity wise?
yeah, because my identity before was just again like completely survival based.
Yeah.
Like who do I have to be today?
Mhm.
You know? And um that's why I was good at sports is because I didn't do anything else. I literally did not do anything else. Like at all. Like anything, literally, I would just go to school, and then immediately after school, I would be doing something with a ball or a
Pause.
pause. But like that's I don't know, man. Like it's like tunnel vision, which is really bad for kids. Like, it's not like a healthy or like quirky, like fun thing. Look, my kid's just always out there. Like, no, like it would have been nice to like know how to do other things, like some type of like I would have been a good musician, maybe. I don't know,
Yeah, who knows?
But
Anything. Could have
yeah,
exposed
but
yourself to a bunch of different shit.
yeah, exactly. And I did. The only way I exposed myself to things is by stealing time on the computer by not sleeping. And as soon as my parents went to bed, I would go downstairs where they kept the desktop computer that was the family computer, and I would just learn about everything,
Yeah.
like literally everything. And that again, not the healthiest, but I was like, I've always been like semi, I've been pretty into, I'm like, I've never really slept. So it
Yeah.
like was
And you're a self-directed learner as well.
very self-directed. Yes, I'm a very self-directed learner. I did not do or pay attention like that much because I just like had already found that out for myself, which is kind of the way that life still is now. I really have never been good at like paying attention to things. It's like at work and like in my life outside of, I don't know, it is hard for me to like focus on anything because I've always been just in my own like mode
Mm-hmm.
in order, again, survival based, like literally just in order to fucking like stay on a level. There's so much fucking work that I used to have to put into that.
Mm-hmm.
And now I would say I don't really. I just wake up now, and that's like the best possible place for me to be
Yeah.
right now, at least. I mean, obviously there's like more that I would like to be able to, experience, I think, from a headspace point of view, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, waking up is a gift. At the end of the day, like I'm happy with the way that everything has turned out.
Yeah.
So
And I don't mean to like I don't know, I'm not trying to like pine into your experience of blackness, but do you feel like I mean, we're in our mid-20s now, we're settled into adultship, like you work and shit. Do you feel less like you're in like everyday survival mode at this point in your life than you did as a kid? Because there wasn't that like super stimulating environment full of like shithead kids and also dumbass teachers like this?
I would say yes. I would say like I couldn't wait to get out of school, man. Like not I'm not talking like on like a daily basis and just like on a like my like the day I got out of high school, like oh god, like that was like the best day of my life. Like I fucking and the day that I left home like for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
best fuck like two best days of my life before getting married.
Yeah.
It's those 3 days
Yeah.
are the best days of my, and just because of it. But now that I'm adult, to answer your question, am I in survival mode all the time? No, definitely not. But like I still have to be
Yeah.
to be like efficient at my job and also like maintain like the necessary relationships to get things done. It's just
Mhm.
like the way that and I don't like that. Obviously, like I would much rather just be able to, that's why working at home is fire, because like you can just like when you're not on camera, you can do whatever.
Yeah, you could just exist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's very hard to like I have to do like a pretty complete like thing to be able to do the work that I do in like a, and it's really been the case for the last like 5 years. Like every job that I've had has been pretty much this, not every job, but it's been pretty much the same in terms of like me having to do like a whole thing to like be work me.
Yeah.
You know, and it was much better when I like didn't have to do any of that and I could just fucking like chill. But nah, man, that's
Chilling is sick.
yeah.
Big
But
shout out to Chilling.
the reality of the situation is like, you know, money is a thing, and like I would again like hopefully here soon, like I can just like do what I want and be cool, but like I'm used to it, you know, like I'm not doing anything I haven't done. I'm good at it. Like
Yeah.
it's just fucking not fun.
Yeah.
It would be cool to be like good at being fun at like fun things.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. That got kind of heavy.
Yeah.
I appreciate you putting this on here. I mean,
how
I wanted
long
to
did we talk about that?
a good like half hour almost.
Wow, I just kind of was talking.
I'm probably gonna cut a clip out of that just because, dude, like, again, like on the exact opposite end of that spectrum, like having grown up in a majority white community as a white kid, like little fucking farming town, like I just think it would have been so beneficial to at least like begin challenging people's minds. Like children's brains are so fucking, they're so informable. They're so like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but
Malleable.
like, yeah, they're so malleable. Like, and being able at a younger age, like, especially like pre-10, like at least just introducing some of these concepts to children and getting them to reflect on that shit, like, would just be so important. It's just like sad. Like, I think back to my high school experience and like vividly remember the very overt racism that any of my non-white classmates went through in high school. And that's fucked up that like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids were, again, just being openly allowed to just be shitty as fuck to anyone that was just not white or cis for that matter as well. Like it's just so dog shit, and it's just a shame to see people like this being able to publicly behave like this when like this woman holds the keys to like really challenging her students, and it's fucking pathetic in my opinion that she chooses to behave like this and use her entire chest to like stand up for the system that already exists. Like she's doing the powers that be's bidding for them, and I find it so fucking despicable, and it's just sad. Like I don't know, it's just, it sucks. Obviously, again, like I can't relate, but like just thinking back to high school, like knowing what people went through and the fact that some type of like real theoretical intervention at a younger age maybe could have had some influence on that, like it would be worth it. Sure, again, like conservative parents would have to have tough conversations with their kids and get challenged on their worldviews and shit, but like that's ultimately at some point we're gonna have to fucking do that as a country. Like nothing, we can do all the policy we want in the world. At some point we're gonna have to change people's fucking minds, and just letting white people, especially in like rural small areas, exist in their fucking bubble of whiteness where they never have to confront race and are super prone to fucking conservative media that like basically dismisses the concept of race. I mean, like even the most libbed up people in rural areas are probably like self-identified colorblind. You know what I mean? Like it's just, it's such a bad spot to be in, and it sucks.
I've had so many people say that to my face. Like,
Mm-hmm.
by the way, I'm like, like, oh shit.
No, I literally remember, dude, when we were fucking bartending at the country club
Yeah.
together, it had to have been your first day.
No,
literally-
it was
Was
it was
it
close. It was the
within
first week I was there,
and
yeah.
you only lasted like 2 weeks.
No, I was there a whole month.
Okay. But yeah,
Including
like
the golf
literally
tournament.
fucking like first weekend we're there, this dude's just drunk as shit and just, you know, I mean, seemingly completely coincidentally decided to tell you that he was colorblind, which is a very
Yeah,
interesting
well, he
thing
was like,
that he
I
just
think
walked
it's-
up to a random
I
white
think
person.
he's like, I think it's nice you're working here.
Yeah.
Oh well, thank you.
Jesus,
I also
fuck.
think that it's okay. You know. Well,
I'm glad I'm allowed to exist here as well.
yeah, it's like, you know, just so you know, all my kids, you know, I raised them to be colorblind. It's like, well,
You're not, so I doubt it.
yeah. Like, so by colorblind, do you mean going up to a black person and telling them that you think that it's okay that they're here?
It was worth a
Like
great
that-
laugh, but like, yeah, dude, just
That's
so
it.
dumb.
That was insane. Like, bro,
I chose you for no in particular reason whatsoever.
just
to-
so
to
you
say-
know, I like you.
Yeah. I'm tolerant.
I like
Yeah.
you. It's okay that you're here, and I want you to know that.
Yeah.
I don't want you to feel different.
guy who I just called out.
Yeah, I don't want you to feel different for any reason, but I just want to know it's okay that you're black.
And that's fucked up. Like
Like,
that guy, that's like another thing, like with shit like this, with being completely avoidant. That's a guy who has I mean, dude had to be close to 50.
He was
Good,
over 50.
clearly
He was well over
well-intentioned,
50.
not at all equipped. Literally gets uncomfortable with the presence of black people to the extent that he feels like he needs to announce his okayness.
This guy's probably as uncomfortable as me. Hey, I think you're okay.
Yeah.
You're cool. Like that was and again, it's not like the only time it's ever happened, but like it's
Right.
that
No, I just brought that up because I was there,
You were there
and that
for
shit
that.
was
You-
fucking wild.
yeah.
Because weirdly, no one ever said that to me when I
Yeah,
was there.
yeah, just so
That's
you know.
odd.
I don't you're white to me.
Just as a heads up. Hey, secretly,
Hey, I know that we both know you're black, but also I think that it's okay, and I don't think that like
bro literally walked up and was like, "Hey, guy, your secret's safe with me."
Yeah, he was like, yo, like,
They don't know.
I want you to know, and I tell my kids this
Yeah.
in my house.
Jesus Christ.
We don't see color. That means we completely avoid talking about it
Yeah.
in any way, unless it's in this situation where I see somebody who's not white and I want to tell them that I think that that's fine.
Yeah. And that's also the again,
That's totally
let's move
fine.
off of this very soon because
Okay,
we've really
yeah.
been dragging. But like one last point, that exact type of interaction that black people are fucking forced to deal with constantly in America, again, could be avoided if we just allowed schools to talk about race earlier on in students' life. If people didn't start thinking and talking about race until they're fucking in their 30s or some shit. Like, do you know how many Gen X white people are still uncomfortable with just saying the word black? Like, that makes them like, there are still white people walking around talking about like, fucking Haitian people, Bahamian people, and saying, like, forcing themselves to say African American because they think it's PC when like this person is not African.
I
Like, you
hate
can
I
just
hate
say
being called
black,
I hate
dude.
being called African American so fucking
Right.
much.
You can
Like,
just
I'm
you
not.
can just say
Like-
people are black. It's okay. It's not
Yeah.
derogatory. And the fact that you think it is derogatory to say black says a lot about how much fucking reflection you have
He's
to do.
the first African American.
Yeah.
Like literally, like it's
I
just-
voted for an African American. It's just so ridiculous. It's so upsetting. Like, just talk to these fucking kids,
Oh.
man. The kids are fine with it. I guarantee they'd be okay with it. But
Look at my African American over there.
Jesus Christ.
Look at my African American over there.
Like the president, our current president is still running around for the most part saying African American on every opportunity that he gets. Like, it's just so bad, dude. Like, the kids, if you don't confront them with like having honest, informed, intelligent, philosophical conversations about race early, guess what they do get exposed to? Racism. And then that's the only fucking thing they get exposed to. And unless you're someone who leaves one of those areas and goes to college and, chooses to learn about shit like that, like for me, like that was a thing that I actively did. I wanted to learn about race in college, like through politics. That was the lens that I chose to learn through it, like learn about it through. But like, if you don't directly seek out that information, you just don't have to confront it ever. And that's fucked up. Like, you should not just be getting away with like not thinking about race your entire life as a white person in this country. It's fucked up. And fuck this
Yeah.
lady.
Yeah. Okay.
Fuck her.
Okay. We're on to more. I
Yeah.
guess.
Moving off the topic of race, the NFL draft.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus
Speaking
Christ.
of colorblind,
Speaking of colorblind, Roger Goodell.